Everybody, I am so excited. I want to welcome you to Impact Leadership. I'm Brother Jacky Connell, and can you believe it? This is our very first episode to start 2020 off right. And I'm so excited to have the opportunity to speak into you about that. Remember, we're talking about how do you start 2020 off right. And I want to give you just a few things to chat about or think about as we dive into this exciting new year. The very first thing that I want to encourage you to do is have a sit down, heart-to-heart talk with yourself. That is, you know what, if you think about leadership and you think about where you're going, man, you got to sit down and really just have that heart-to-heart with yourself. If you're going to be the leader, realize you got to get your act together first. Realize you're not the best that you can be. There is room for improvement for you. And ask yourself the hard questions. You know, those are the things that we've got to do before we really start off in our leadership life. Again, have a heart-to-heart talk with yourself. And then identify your mission for the year. You've got to sit down and really think, what is going to be my mission for the year? And when you identify that, the third thing I want to encourage you to do is map out your strategy. You know, when if you don't know where you're going, you're never going to get there. And you've got to identify that mission. You've got to map out your strategies. What are going to be the key points that you want to execute through the year? Mapping that out, getting a good eye on that and being able to kind of navigate through that, and then profile your positions. As you look at your mission for the year and you want to accomplish things and you've had that hard talk with yourself, you need to sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper and kind of profile your positions. Who you're going to get to help you? What do you want them to do? How do you want them to serve? What do you want them to accomplish? What's going to be their objective? And just kind of sit down and map that out. And then recruit your potential team members. Now, when we think about recruiting, we have to stop and ask ourselves, what does that really mean? And what that means is you have a time that you sit down and talk to people. After you've mapped out your profiles for them, you got that in front of you, and you're able to sit down and just kind of interview people, recruiting, talking about that. And, you know, just because you're recruiting doesn't mean that you've signed on the bottom line yet. You want to make sure you kind of get the right people in the right place, and that gives you leverage to be able to do that. And then you want to enlist your dream team. Did you hear that? When you look at your 2020 year and you're sitting down looking at all the things you want to accomplish, and you get the chance, y'all, to enlist your dream team. Who's going to go with you? Who are you going to take with you? And man, I'm going to tell you, there is exciting times when you get the right people in the right places and the right seats on your team. You can really, really develop a dream team. And then I want to encourage you to do something else, and that is communicate and make the mission the main thing. Talk about it a lot. Communicate it with your team. Make sure you share ideas about it. Communicate and keep the mission the main thing. Keep it out there in front of your team. Keep it in front of yourself. Don't get sidetracked. You know, if we're not careful, we'll be chasing all kind of rabbits everywhere. And we want to make sure that we keep our mission the main thing so that we don't waste time, waste energy, involving ourselves in things that really don't accomplish what we want to see accomplished this year. And then make sure everyone knows what values are important. Don't get bogged down with non-essentials. You've got to make sure you put those values that are important really out there. You've got to make sure you communicate that. And if we're not careful, we'll get bogged down with non-essential stuff, and we don't want to do that. So you've got to be on task. You've got to be on purpose, and I believe you're going to do that. And then as you look at your year, you want to sit down, and this is one I really want to encourage you to remember. Schedule your measurement moments. That is, sequentially through the year, you want to sit down and ask yourself, how are we doing? Schedule your measurement moments. Are you getting there? Are you accomplishing the task? Where are you? How far have you came? What have you done? What are your celebrations? All those things. but you want to schedule those. So go get your calendar and nail down those moments along the journey that you're going to sit down and measure. You know, you got to think about this. What doesn't get measured doesn't get done. You've got to have those measurement moments and keep them and make them a priority and communicate that with your team. And watch this. Make sure you write this one down now. Keep a close eye on your attitude. I believe that we ought to have fun doing what we're doing. We ought to launch a great mission out there. But man, we got to make sure that we don't sabotage our goals and our dreams and our missions because we have the wrong attitude. So you got to keep your eye on your attitude. Keep a close eye on your attitude. Let me leave you with what Charles Swindoll had to say about attitude, and this is what he said. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on my life. Attitude to me is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what people think or what they say or do. It's more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we will embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. And so it is with you, my friend. We are in charge of our attitude. I hope these little nuggets help you, propel you out there for the future as you look at a great year 2020. I look forward to talking to you next time as we dig right back in to impact leadership.